Hello, Rainey.
G'day, Lolly. Guys, this is heavy.
That's not right, is it?
This is the heaviest case we've ever done. It's goddamn depressing.
We normally answer these calls really chipper, happy, but Rainey and I have been really impacted by this case today, and listeners, be aware, we are covering a pretty heavy case today, and, sensitive ears, maybe you want to turn this one off. I don't know.
Warning, warning. I have cried. I've had nightmares. I have had sleepless nights over this case.
Me too.
It's not a lie.
Honestly, I am in bed thinking about what happened to these people today. It's so bad.
It's terrible.
There's been some massive true crime cases coming to a close over the last few weeks. Obviously, the mushroom murders, the Karen Read case, and today is another case that's been probably one of the biggest true crime cases of the decade. It's just wrapped up in the court, so of course we're going to be covering it. And today we're going to be covering the Idaho student murders.
That's right.
Shall we do it?
Jump right in.
Grab your voodoo dolls, your tissues, and your rage journals. Okay?
We're raging.
12th of November, 2022. Our story takes us to Moscow, Idaho, in the United States of America. Don't be fooled, we are not in Russia. We are in a quaint little town. Tree-lined streets, nestled into the hills of northern Idaho. Usually this town has a population of around 15,000 people, but this population explodes to almost 25,000 people when all of the college students come rolling into town. This is the home of the University of Idaho. So the energy is buzzing, it's alive, it's young, it's fun. These students living out their college days in this beautiful part of the world. Now, on the 12th of November, 2022, Maddie Mogan is excited. Her very best friend, Kaylee Gonzalez, is coming to stay the night. Now, these two girls, they are best friends. Best friends doesn't seem to even cut it. They are like sisters from another mister. They're like twins. They grew up together. They are like the yin and the yang, or as Rainey likes to call it, the yin and the yang.
That's right.
They're just really, really close, and they were studying together, and recently Kaylee has moved away, but she's coming back for this weekend because Kaylee, she just bought her dream car the day before. A little Range Rover. Rainey, you'd be proud.
Oh, I did wonder whose car that was in the driveway. Very nice.
Well, it was 21-year-old Kaylee. Now, she used to live in this house, a college share house. It's where fun times are had. 3 stories, 6 bedrooms, and 5 girls are all living together.
Party! Woo!
Is this not what dreams are made of?
Oh my God, the time of your life.
Guys, this is the time of your life. You're just getting your newfound independence, figuring out what you want to do in the world, even though it'll probably change 5 more times. You're living with your friends, away from your parents. It's really fun. And in this house where Kaylee was living, she's coming back to visit, and we've got Maddie, we've got Zana, Bethany, and Dylan, all the girls reunited once again.
Fun.
Now, on this fun Saturday, everyone's going out for a party. Because, of course.
Why not?
What else would you do on the weekend?
Party time.
Drinking, socialising, having a great time with your friends. Kaylee and Maddie, they go out to watch a college game, and then later into the evening, they head to a place called the Corner Shop. Now, this is a pretty cool happening bar. All the college students go there. It's like a sports bar. It's a great time. Zana and her boyfriend, Ethan, they're at like a frat party.
Fun.
Let's go. Love it. Dylan and Bethany, they're out having some drinks. Everyone is just living their lives. Kaylee and Maddie, they've had a great day. They've had some drinks. They're drunk. And what do when you wrap up? Not long after 1 a.m, you go and get a feed. Now, these gals head to the famous Grub Truck. This is a place that's open at all hours of the night, so you can get your late night feed. And these gals go and order a little mac and cheese and carbonara.
Delish.
Jesus Christ, you can't be eating carbonara when you're nearly 40 at 1:30 in the morning.
No, was it at the Grub Truck?
Yeah, just go and get some grub.
Sounds like it probably makes a bit of every cuisine. They've probably got burgers, pasta,
pizza,
Mexican,
greasy,
Indian.
So the girls, they have a little late night feed and they head home. Now, this house, it's located at 1122 King Road. surrounded by little apartment buildings, and it's a quiet part of town, but it's very much filled with students, a lot of students around. And these girls, they all live together. It's a 3-story house, and everyone's arriving home around the same time. Zana and Ethan, they've wrapped up their party. They get home about 1:45 a.m. Maddie and Kaylee arrive around the same time, and Dylan and Bethany are already home. Everyone's a little buzzed, the energy is fun, and they all head off to their rooms. Kaylee and Maddie, they're going to sleep in the same bed because why wouldn't you?
Why not?
I can imagine there's some girl chats going on, some giggling.
Some TikToks.
Yeah, exactly. Little social meds. My God, is that what the kids are saying these days?
I don't think so.
Sorry about that. Kaylee has her golden retriever there, Murphy. Oh, it's bloody fantastic. Kaylee's recently separated from a long-term relationship, so these gals make a few drunken phone calls to the ex-boyfriend, 10 to be exact.
The drunk dial. Don't do it. Put the phone down.
Yeah, well, he didn't answer. He must have been asleep. The girls are up on the 3rd floor. Down on the 2nd floor, Dylan is already in bed. She's asleep. She's probably passed out drunk. Zana and Ethan, they are just wrapping up for the evening. Zana's feeling a little hungry, so she gets a little DoorDash order. Jack in the Box. That's like a Burger King or Hungry Jack's for people on our side of the world. Little late night drunken feed. And she closes the door and hops into bed. Bethany, down on the very 1st floor. She's sleeping.
Passed out drunk.
The house would seemingly go quiet and everyone would be heading off to sleep. Not long after 4 a.m., Dylan would wake to hear some strange noises. She thinks she can hear someone playing with the dog on the 3rd floor.
Strange.
Maddie's bedroom is directly above Dylan's room. So she's thinking, are they just up there being drunk? Just shut up. You're in a share house. I mean, there's got to be noises going on all the time. You're 21.
Yeah, I can imagine also that house, it looks quite old. The floorboards would probably be quite noisy, don't you reckon?
Yeah, very thin walls. She thinks she can hear some crying, but then she's not really sure. So she tries to go back to sleep. She can't go back to sleep because the noises continue. Now she's hearing the dog barking, and then she thinks she hears someone say, "Someone's here." Perhaps it's Zana, but she's not really sure. Now remember, Dylan's been out drinking. She's not really sure what's going on. She just wants to go to sleep.
Maybe it's a dream.
The noises continue. She's sure she can hear crying, so she gets up and she cracks the door open. She listens and looks out, but then she doesn't hear anything. So she shuts the door and hops back in bed. But Rainey, the noises would continue. The crying begins to become a little more evident that this is what she's hearing. She's hearing some screams, some cries, and then she looks out again. And this time she hears a male voice saying,
"It's okay. I'm going to help you."
She doesn't recognise this voice. She's saying, what the fuck is going on out there? Also, it's 4 a.m. It's dark. She's pretty scared.
The noise is coming on her level now?
They are now on her level. She shuts the door and she still hears crying and she's like, right, something's happening. So she opens the door one more time. And this time, Rainey, she would see a man dressed in black from head to toe, wearing a balaclava and only his eyes visible.
Fuck that.
They would lock eyes, and the man would continue to walk down past her room to the kitchen and out the sliding door out the back of the house. Dylan is like, fuck that. She shuts the door, she locks it, she sits on her bed, and now she begins to call her roommates. She's calling Kaylee, she's calling Maddie, Zana. She's also calling Bethany. Now, Bethany's down on the 1st floor, so she's the furthest away from all of these noises. Now, nobody is answering, but finally someone would call back. Bethany on the 1st floor would call Dylan's phone. They would chat for about 40 seconds, and then she would hang up the phone. Bethany and Dylan would continue to try and contact their roommates. They are texting Kaylee, Maddie, Zana, calling, no response.
Not right.
Dylan would text Bethany and tell her that she saw someone in a ski mask in the house and she's freaking out. Beth writes back, STFU.
What does that mean?
That's shut the fuck up for us oldies.
Oh, Christ.
Remember, we're about 4:20 in the morning now. The girls have been drinking. They live in a share house. Dylan is questioning, is this what I saw? did I really see someone? Is this a prank? Maybe Zana and her boyfriend having a fight. She's trying to make sense of what's going on, but she's just not really sure. She continues to text Beth and she's telling Beth that she's so freaked out. So Bethany tells her to run to her room. And this is exactly what she does. It's about 4:26 a.m. Dylan builds up the courage. She unlocks the door and she fucking bolts downstairs, and they both shut the door and lock it. They're sitting on the bed together and they're still trying to make sense of what's going on. Unanswered calls, unanswered texts continue to happen to all the roommates. The girls are also jumping on social media to see if they can find out the last activity of their friends. You know, you can jump on Messenger or Instagram and see when someone's been online last. I do that to you, bitch, when I go get hold of you.
Fair enough.
I'm like, oh, she was active 13 minutes ago. Thank God she's still alive.
Oh, she's safe.
Now, the girls would eventually fall asleep, Rainey. They don't call 911.
Oh,
They are just trying to rationalize the situation and think, I don't know what just happened.
do you go to sleep though?
Oh, look, I just don't know.
Can you go to sleep?
The girls fall asleep and they would wake up the next morning. Now, down on the bottom level, you've got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. They stay confined to this bottom level. They don't go upstairs because they're still a bit scared. They continue to message and call their friends and nothing. Some other activity would go on. They'd jump on some social media. Bethany would call her dad. Is she explaining what happened the night before? I don't really know. They take some photos. They TikTok. Rainey, they're just being 21. But they know something strange is going on.
They're in denial.
Yes, the roommates are not answering and they are too scared to go upstairs and have a look. They're hoping that maybe they'll just get a phone call soon. You know, they've probably been really drunk the night before. These youths of today, they sleep till bloody midday. Your teenager does.
Oh, Christ. Sometimes I would leave work and come home at 12 o'clock. So I'm like, well, she's dead because she's not answering my call and she's fast asleep. I'm like, get up, girl.
Oh, it's like light at the end of the tunnel though. Remember, she was such a terrible sleeper. So the girls, they end up inviting some friends over because they're like, I'm not going upstairs. I'm just not. So they need some support, some encouragement. They contact 3 friends. And out of these 3 friends, there is a male present. So they think, okay, great. We'll get a dude over here and he can like help lead the charge. So it's about 11:30 in the morning. So remember, all of this was happening at 4 in the morning the night before, well, the morning of. And the friends come over and they all build up the courage to go up the stairs. They head up the stairs from the first floor. This would bring them to the landing where Dylan's room would be on the left. And on the right side, you walk through a doorway to the living room, to Zana's room. The male is leading the charge. He walks into Zana's room and is confronted by a horrific sight. He immediately turns around and tells the girls to
Get out, let's go.
They listen to what he says. They're already terrified and they make their way back down the stairs and head out the front door. And they would call 911. At this stage, they're only thinking that their friend is passed out. They think maybe she was drunk the night before and she's unconscious. The male friend hasn't gone into any detail. I mean, he's obviously trying to protect the girls from what he's seen. So there is a lot of confusion before this 911 call is made.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something's happened in our house. We don't know what.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check.
So now they're going to go back up and look again.
Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Yeah. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help served that way.
Is that the guy?
Get out, get out, get out. When they first made the call, they hadn't really looked at what was going on. And when they've gone back up again, this is when the male friend has gone in. I believe he's tried to check for a pulse. The girls haven't gone in. They're kind of keeping their distance. And then he turns around and shouts, get out, get out, get out. So obviously there is a horrific scene unfolding. At this stage, they know one of their roommates is unresponsive and they're waiting for the emergency services to arrive.
Because it'd been like 7 hours, so rigor mortis had kicked in and he checked Ethan and Xana's bodies for a pulse, but they're both cold to the touch and visibly, very clearly dead. Police arrive at 1122 King Road. They enter the property. On the second floor, the kitchen door is ajar and blood is smeared on the floor and the walls. They head to the third floor where Kaylee and Madison lay in bed together under a pink blanket covered in blood. A large pool of blood is surrounding Kaylee's stomach. It's clear that she has got multiple injuries and blood is splattered all over the floor and walls. Madison has got clear defensive wounds, a sign that she put up a fight. As police are searching, they find a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed beside her. As they continue to search the property, back on the second floor, there lay Xana's body, covered in wounds and very clear defensive wounds. Another sign she has fought for her life. There, laying on the bed in the bedroom, is Ethan. He's covered in a blanket with a clear wound to his neck and cuts down the back of his legs. It's very, very clear there's been a horrific fight for their lives. The scene is absolutely traumatizing, even to the police officers walking in. It's something that they have not encountered. They don't get murders in Moscow. The last murder was 7 years ago, so the police are in shock. The females have a lot more injuries than Ethan. Kaylee, in fact, has stab wounds and also blunt force injuries to the point where she is actually unrecognizable. But it is very clear the other three all have visible stab wounds. The knife sheath looks to be from a very sharp, long, single-edged knife that has been used with significant force. It's at this moment an alert is sent out to the Idaho college students, and the friends outside, they get this alert and they're notified that there's been a homicide in the area. So now they're thinking, oh my gosh, one of our friends has died. What has happened? They're in complete shock.
That's how the roommates found out what was going on.
That's how they found out.
Oh.
They have no idea what's going on. They're trying to ask police officers what's happening, what's going on. No one would talk to them. No one would confirm anything. Not long after Lolly, a second alert goes out to the college students, including the flatmates and friends waiting outside. And this alert states they are now investigating a 4-person homicide. Proceed with caution in the area.
Oh.
This is how they find out that all 4 of their friends have been murdered in the home that they slept in and waited in for hours.
Let's just unpack that for just a moment.
Shall we?
So for starters, I just want to say, like, how horrific these poor girls. Dylan literally saw the person who did this walk past her, lock eyes and leave. But to not call 911 is really hard to wrap your head around. And I know that the girls copped so much backlash online, these poor girls. I mean, it's one thing to go through the trauma of it all. When I was looking into what had happened in the night of, they actually gave a psychological term to what the girls went through, and it's called cognitive dissonance. Now, this is where you try to rationalize a threatening situation to try and make it seem like, oh, it's actually fine. So they think that's what the girls were going through. You got to remember, it's late at night. They've been drinking as well. Like, God. But also, would you not call?
Look, you don't know until you're in that moment, and I'll be going to investigate, but that's my personality, right?
But also we're much older too.
Hey, I think we were 21, someone had broken into your house and I grabbed that sword we got from China and I was running around the house trying to find the person. I was like, show yourself.
Story time. Story time. A little bit late there, but was that on our birthday? We got home and there was been like break-in?
Yeah, we got home and there was a break-in, and I think that we maybe had got home as they were inside the property and escaped maybe.
This is how people die, Rainey. This is how you become the topic of a bloody true crime podcast.
Well, that's right, but we entered Lolly's home and we'd gone to China and there was like these little swords that you can get, like, you know, that you just put on a stand.
They probably made of plastic.
No, that was real. Don't know if it was very sharp. Anyway, old ruthless Rainey storms the house. She gets the sword. Sorry, I'm talking in 3 persons. I get the sword. I pull the sheath off and I'm like, Oya! Koya! And I am entering every bedroom, ready to stab a motherfucker.
That's right.
Anyway, no one was there.
Thank Christ.
I know, right?
What was I doing? Probably waiting up the front.
Probably. Anyone there, Rainey? How's it going inside? Back to the story. Yes, you just don't know, but I feel like because she was on the same level, you're going to hear stuff.
Well, she did hear stuff, but she was trying to rationalize it. It's just terrible. It makes no sense. And look, it's something that they'll have to live with for the rest of their lives.
That is right.
Yes, pretty horrific.
Friends have come out on the documentary One Night in Idaho, and they're just trying to defend their friends because there was nothing that they could have done. The wounds that those poor people had, you could not save them. We're talking multiple, a lot of stab wounds.
And also the fact that she did stay in her room is what saved her life. Imagine if she came out like Zana did.
Wow, that's right.
Those poor girls.
And those poor roommates, and they are standing outside the property. They are hysterical. I mean, how would you be in that moment? Family members that also go to the college are showing up and they are waiting outside, wondering what is going on. When I say family members, one of the brothers showed up. Their friends had to tell him that your brother's no longer with us. And he didn't quite understand. He's like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, Zana and Ethan, they're not here anymore. He's like, well, go get them. He's like, no, they're not on this earth.
Oh,
That's how he found out that his brother had died. Let's just find out who exactly these victims are. 21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez. She is the middle child. She's one of 5.
wow.
It's a lot of children. She's known as a defender, protector. She did everything she set her mind to, and she didn't hold back on love, fight, or life. She was a senior at college and she was studying arts and social sciences. She just purchased her dream car, 2016 white Range Rover.
Damn, girl.
Good on you, girl. Good on you. She had a trip planned to Europe. She was moving to Texas after she graduated and she already had a job lined up. She was best friends with Madison, otherwise known as Maddie, and these two were inseparable. Madison Mogan, she also was 21 years old. She was studying marketing and she was known for her ability to make people smile and laugh. And she had an incredible sense of humour.
She did look just like a ray of sunshine, didn't she?
Absolutely beautiful.
They all did.
They were all beautiful, beautiful people. She had a very, very close relationship with her mum and her stepdad. Zana Knodel, 20 years old. She was loved by many and surrounded by best friends always. She'd walk into a room, the place would light up with her energy. She had an infectious smile, a love of dance music, and again, very, very close to her family. She dated Ethan Chapin, 20 years old, and Lolly, he was a triplet.
Oh, what dreams are made of.
Can you believe?
Most people say, I wish I had a twin, but to have a triplet, 3 of you, that is cool.
3 of you. However, there were 2 boys and a girl. Obviously, they are not identical. That would be weird, but they were so close, incredibly close. They did everything together. Ethan was known as the dominant triplet, a bit like you're the dominant twin.
This is true. There's got to be one.
I am just following in your footsteps. Hey, Laurel.
Oh, stop.
What about me?
Don't be ridiculous. That's right. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
That's right. He had a love of sports, basketball, tennis, loved country music.
Great lad.
He was a great lad. He made everyone's life better. And he'd been dating Zana for 1 year. They were in love. So in love.
It's fucking shit, isn't it?
It is just the worst. I mean, these people were just starting to live life.
They were. You just loved them. You can even just look at photos and you just think they just look like great, joyful people, loving life, living their life.
And also just so close to their family.
So we've got this incredible group of people. So who on earth would want to inflict such horrific death and pain to these 4 victims? The investigation would begin and the police are thinking,
What the fuck? What's happened?
where do you start? So they do begin to set up a phone tip line, an email set up. They are encouraging anyone with any information to come forward. They're also requesting any video footage in the area that would contain footage of the house. Because, everyone's got a bloody door ring bell these days.
Ring camera, guys, you can't get away with anything.
Jack Diddley Squid, as Rainey likes to call it. You honestly can't.
Jack Diddley Squid.
Oh, you can't. You just can't.
No.
Do you know, Rainey, in this case, the police, the investigators, would contact Google and they want to look for any unusual Google searches that happened within the area before the deaths were made public.
Wow.
Do you know they can access your Google searches? So just be careful what you're Googling.
Oh, Christ.
Could you imagine what our Google searches would be like? Because
Ours is always just about murderers.
it's terrible. Sometimes I even like go into ChatGPT and it's like, this violates the terms. I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Shit.
They are wanting to see if there's any Google searches before there was any public knowledge of this crime. So things like students stabbings, Googling the house location, 1122 King Road. So that is in the works. Google is starting to pull all of the information in the surrounding areas. Obviously, one of the first things that the investigators have to do is to rule out the people that are closest to this group of 4 people. Some potentially speculate, did the roommates have something to do with this? They didn't call the police for like 8 or 9 hours. But obviously the girls are ruled out. They definitely did not have anything to do with this horrific crime. Now, Kaylee had recently separated from a long-term relationship. We know Kaylee was calling the ex-boyfriend multiple times. Maddie was even making a couple of calls from her phone, but the ex-boyfriend had a pretty strong alibi and he was ruled out as a suspect. Now, when the girls have been out earlier in the evening at the grub truck getting a feed, this food truck has a live stream camera. So it's on Twitch. They live stream their evenings every night. So random, but that's what they do.
So random.
This is actually really helpful because they were able to track the girls on this live stream. Kaylee's sister, Olivia, actually was doing her own investigation. This woman is a freaking badass bitch, and we're going to talk about her later. She is the epitome of what we call a badass bitch.
I know.
Everyone wants a sister like Olivia.
I reckon you got one.
Oh, are you looking at her right now?
I reckon I'm like her.
You are like one. Yes, I'm lucky. Crystal's lucky. We've got an Olivia sister over here. Footage on the live stream would see Maddie and Kaylee ordering their food, and they would be hanging around with a male wearing a hoodie.
That's right.
He looks a little suspicious.
He's behind them.
He's wearing a hoodie, so I guess automatically, put your hood down, guys, because you're going to be suspect number 1.
Dodgy. It's also pretty cold in Moscow this time of year, right?
Snow.
No wonder you got your hood up. It's freezing.
This guy is ruled out as a suspect. The girls are also taken home in a rideshare. They are able to track down this driver, and this person is ruled out. So what the fuck? Who would do this? Same with Zana and Ethan. Obviously, they've both succumbed to their injuries, so it wasn't some domestic dispute. They are really trying to figure out who could potentially be involved in this crime. So naturally, they're going to start to look at the CCTV footage in the area. I will also go back to that little wee nugget of evidence Shireen mentioned earlier, to the leather knife sheath that was found at the scene of the crime. I mean, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
To leave this piece of evidence behind is gold. The police are very excited. Hopefully they can pull some DNA off this so it goes away for some forensic testing. As they are surveilling the CCTV footage in the area, something incredibly interesting would get their attention, Rainey. They begin to notice a vehicle that is making a few too many appearances in the surrounding areas.
Amateur.
Now, let me explain where this house is. So 1122 King Road, it's actually down a street that's kind of like a dead end. You head down King Road and then it will wrap around. It's like a U almost, and then it would get to a car park. So when it goes past the girl's house, the road veers off to the right and then it wraps back around and you'll actually come to the back of their house. So when you drive on the street, you're not driving through to find another street. You essentially have to drive all the way around and then come back. You're not going to be able to find an exit. They find a white Hyundai Elantra that has made several drive-bys starting at 3:29 a.m. until 4:04 a.m. Now, this is the middle of the night. What are you doing, bro?
What do you want?
What are you looking for? This is very interesting. Originally, the police believe that this vehicle was a 2011 to a 2013, so they start to look at all of these vehicles in the area, see if they can find a match for this one on the CCTV footage.
Was that on the night of the murders till 4:04? Is that when he parked?
We do see the car leave for the last time at 4:20 a.m. So quick, 15 minutes.
So fast.
As they are trying to find out who this vehicle belongs to, they do receive some security camera footage on the house next door. This house is the one on the right side, essentially next to Zana's bedroom. And as police are going through this footage, at 4:17 a.m., something would really pique their interest. They would hear the dog barking, they would hear crying, and then a loud thud, and then silence.
See, this is 50 meters away, this house.
Mm.
And you got Dylan just inside.
I know, and I have heard the audio. Have you heard it?
I could hear the dog barking. I couldn't hear anything else, so.
The thud and everything was super loud. It was very, very loud.
Yeah, I wonder what that was.
So this definitely creates the timeline that the police need. We've got this vehicle stopping at the back of the property at 4:04 a.m. Now, at the back of the property is where you would enter the sliding door. The main entry is the second floor. So if you're coming from the front of the house, when you drive by, there is like a parking area in the front of the house. There's a front door, but essentially this is like the basement level. So you'd go in, there's 2 bedrooms down there, downstairs, but then you come up, it sort of brings you up to the main level of the house. So we've got Zana and Dylan's bedroom, the living room, the kitchen, and then you would come to more stairs up to the 3rd floor, and then you'd have the 2 bedrooms at the top. It's a big house.
Yeah.
So they believe that the assailant has come to the back of the house, entered the house around 4:05, 4:06 in the morning, done the thing, and he has left scene exiting the street at 4:20 a.m. So quick.
That is just unbelievably quick. I can't believe
15
that.
minutes. Can you believe it? 15 minutes, 4 lives gone.
I'm actually in shock about that. I didn't realize that was how fast it was.
Investigators are starting to spread out a little further from Idaho. So remember, we are in Moscow, Idaho. This is a college town. This is literally on the border of Washington state. And just over the border in an area called Pullman, Washington, investigators are narrowing down on a particular white Elantra. This is a 2015, and it is registered to a Washington State University student that goes by the name of Brian Kohberger. So the University of Idaho and Washington State University is 10 minutes. So it's really close.
And no traffic.
Rainey's obviously mapped it in traffic. So I mapped it last night at about midnight. So if we left yesterday at midnight, it would take us 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who is Brian Kohberger?
We better find out. Brian Garbage Man Kohberger.
Garbage man.
Garbage Man. He is a PhD student.
He is a piece of shit. Sorry.
He is a piece of shit PhD student in criminal justice and criminology at Washington State University. Just 15 minutes from Moscow.
How interesting is that? Criminology. What does that even mean?
It is strange. He showed a strong interest in crime fighting at a young age.
Kaya.
What? But he had turbulent teenage years, Lolly. He was a bit overweight. He was fat. And he was bullied.
Really?
And then he got into boxing, and then he turned into the bullier.
Really?
Really.
Ooh.
He wrote of being depressed, and Lolly, he was addicted to drugs. But not the soft kind. He went straight into heroin.
Fucking hell, man. Where are you getting heroin from?
Heroin! And a teenager.
You know, if someone's offering me heroin, I'm going to say, look, as much as I want to try it, the commitment's too big.
Oh, fuck. The commitment's huge. Oh, no, shit, no, that stuff's terrifying.
Like, why? What's so good about it?
I hear the first hit's the best hit.
That's it. And you're forever chasing that first hit, aren't you?
Because it all goes downhill. Oh, horrific. Thank God Laurel hasn't tried this one. Oh.
I haven't tried any drug, thank you. I haven't.
So this guy in 2011 at the age of 16 wrote in an online forum,
I feel like an organic sack of meat with no self-worth.
and he couldn't find any joy in life. Tell you what he did find joy in, Laurel. He was a vegan. Vegan.
Was he a vegan?
He's a vegan.
Fucking crazy person. I used to be a vegan, guys.
An intense vegan to the point when he was with his auntie and uncle, he asked them to buy new pots that hadn't had meat cooked in them.
Some of those vegans are just goddamn crazy. But you know what? I can relate. Story time! Look, guys, I'll keep this brief. Mark and I used to be vegans, all right? I watched a few docos. I was living in LA. It was just the popular thing to do. But I used to get a little bit crazy. And I remember one time Dad sent me a picture of his chicken roasting in the oven. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you send me that picture of that poor victim roasting away in an oven? How could you? And now, fast forward 5 years, we eat so much meat. I mean, fucking hell.
I mean, God, Mark's on a carnivore diet.
Mark's doing carnivore now. Mark was roasting a duck yesterday, and like the duck is just, it takes it too far because you get the duck and it's still got the head on it.
I like ducks.
I do too. I can't eat it. It makes me, I'm like, that's where it's crossing the line.
No, it's quite a fragrant meat too.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Not for me.
But that's my story time. Don't send pictures of chickens to vegans because they'll be highly offended.
That's right. This guy, 2013, he graduated high school, but he was still deep into that heroin and he was digging it.
Far out.
But by 2018, he picked himself up. He was clean and he was studying. He wanted a job capturing violent criminals. But if that was too hard, he would settle for a career in counselling high-profile offenders.
Wow. Obsessed.
Obsessed. He graduated in 2020, got a master's degree in criminal justice. And while he was at university, he thoroughly enjoyed studying high-profile serial killers.
Wow. So weird.
In 2022, he began a PhD program as a teacher assistant at Washington State University. He also applied for an internship at the local police department. He was into fighting crime, but he clashed with his professor, and lolly, he was fired. He was unlucky in love. The women, they weren't interested because he was weird.
He was weird. He looks weird.
Creep. And look, he just had a bit of resentment towards females.
Yeah. Woman hater.
That's right. That is an overview of who Brian Kohberger really is. He's weird.
He looks like a freak, and we're going to get into that a little later. If you think I'm being a little mean, we're going to talk about that, okay? So the investigation is starting to pick up. They've got a link to the car, Brian Kohberger. So they begin to look a little deeper, and they would discover that at this point in time, Brian is not in town. He's left. In fact, he is on the road with his dad, driving from Pullman, Washington, all the way to Albrightsville. Albrightsville. Albrightsville.
Is it Brightonville?
Albert's. Shit.
Holy hell, for once it's not me.
Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. This is around the holiday time. Remember, these horrific deaths happened 13th of November. Now we are getting close to Christmas. So Brian, he's decided to do the long drive from Pullman, Washington, back home to Pennsylvania. I don't know. Maybe he needed his car during the Christmas break. Maybe he needed to get his car out of the area.
Yeah. How long's the drive?
This drive is 2,515 miles. I know you're thinking, what does that even mean? It means 38 hours.
Oh, hell no.
I don't care who you are, if you're my child or not. I'm not driving for 38 hours with you in a car anywhere. And this is what the dad did. He flew to Washington to then hop in the car and go all the way back for 38 hours. No questions asked.
No, sounds horrible.
Very strange. And like we said, maybe it was just because he was wanting the car for the break, bit of bonding time on the road, but they head on their way. During this cross-country trek, Rainey, Brian will be pulled over 2 times. Traffic violations. And I've seen the body cam footage and Brian is acting pretty chill, pretty cool, calm, collected. He doesn't seem like he's just committed some horrific crime. And his dad seems pretty relaxed too. So I don't know if the dad knew anything. Probably not.
No.
Because you wouldn't be driving with him. You'd be sending him off to the rubbish bin, wouldn't you?
Oh, it definitely would.
The police are on his tail. They're just sitting back. They're watching quietly, seeing what Brian's getting up to. Shall we do ASMR podcast? And then one day in July. Oh my God, I can't believe it. All right, guys, if you want the ASMR bedtime podcast, let us know in the comments below. The police are watching. They're watching his every move. He's back home. It's very strange what Brian's getting up to. They notice that Brian, he's out. It's nighttime. He's washing the car. Not just any wash. He's got surgical gloves on and he is scrubbing this thing top to bottom. He is really
scrubbing it.
Getting in there.
In the middle of winter.
Police think this is weird. It's like nighttime. What are you doing, bro? The DNA has come back on the knife sheath and it's a match for a single source male DNA. So the police are policing and they need to find some DNA to compare this single source that has been found on the knife sheath. It's rubbish day in Albrightsville. Everyone's putting out their wheelie bins. The FBI are licking their chops. Delish. Because when you put your rubbish on the street, it is no longer private property. It is public domain. One man's trash is another FBI's golden treasure. And these guys are stoked. They are waiting for their opportunity to strike, and they begin to rummage. They do what's known as a trash pull, and they would send this trash pull off for DNA testing. And one piece of trash in particular catches their attention.
Oh.
The almighty Q-tip.
Ew.
Now, this is the tiniest sword in a bathroom arsenal. A cotton tip wand that looks like it was designed for cleaning fairy ears, and you know this thing is going to be covered in delicious DNA. And they send this thing off for DNA testing. This brings us to Science of the Crime! Science of the crime, science of the crime, science of the crime! Now, this DNA testing is known as STR. That's short for short tandem repeat. And it's the real MVP in cracking a lot of cases wide open, Rainey. STRs are these teeny tiny repeated sequences in your DNA. Now, we all have them, and how many times it repeats is unique to you. It's like this barcode of your DNA. And no STRs or repeated sequences are the same unless you're an identical twin, baby.
Woo!
As they are comparing the STR DNA found on that almighty Q-tip compared to the single source male DNA found on the knife sheath, they would get a 99.9998% of a parent-child match.
Oh, it's pretty close, isn't it?
So what that means is that the DNA found on the Q-tip is 99.9998% likely to be the father of the DNA found on the knife sheath.
Explain that one away. You just can't.
The bingo card is getting stamped, Brian. We've got the car, we've got the DNA. So this is all they would need to make an arrest. And at 3 a.m., 30th of December, the FBI, the SWAT team, would storm the Kohberger family residence and arrest Brian Kohberger for the murders of Maddie, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan.
FBI, motherfucker!
Woo! This is about 7 weeks after the gruesome discovery of these poor young students. And I must say, the police did a pretty swell job.
They did really, because they were on his case just 2 weeks afterwards. They have arrested Brian and taken him into custody. Brian said he was raised a Christian. He loved the beauty of the environment and relationship with God, but he was still a skeptic.
Shut up, Brian.
He's just engaging in small talk. He expressed his interest in criminal justice, and he thought about being a police officer, but didn't want to make the commitment unless he was absolutely sure. Kohberger stated,
Look, I understand the need for small talk, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Why am I here?
investigators, well, they said,
You watch the news, right?
Brian said,
Of course I do. Well, you're here because of what happened in the news in Idaho in November.
Brian, he knew what happened. He's not silly. He was there, for Christ's sakes.
Obviously, you fucking ding-dong.
And Kohberger said he was aware of the homicide purely because he got an alert on his phone. He was then asked if he would like to discuss the incident, and Kohberger replied,
I think I would like a lawyer.
He went on to say,
I have the utmost respect for law enforcement.
but stated it was his constitutional right to speak to an attorney.
Well, he would know too after all of his studies, wouldn't he?
That's right. He's not that smart, Lolly, because then he went on to ask more questions. He asked exactly what did they want to talk about. But the investigators said,
You have invoked your Fifth Amendment right, and we can no longer engage in conversations.
So he is arrested, he's charged with those 4 counts and charged with burglary. You'd think, hang on a minute, burglary? What did he steal? However, I looked into this, Lolly, and in Idaho, if you just break into a property, it's classed as burglary. You don't need to steal anything. It's a break and enter, it's burglary. On the 4th of January 2023, Kohberger is wearing a body armour and he is led into custody. The judge orders a gag order preventing investigators, law enforcement, attorney, prosecution, defense, anyone from sharing any information. Now, they do this because if and when this goes to trial, they don't want information out there in the public because it could affect the people on the jury. It could affect how people think, what they feel, basically mean that it'll be a fair trial, there'll be no bias in the public eye.
Especially because this case was absolutely enormous. Do you remember did you hear about this case?
Oh, I did. This was huge.
Yeah, massive.
Absolutely massive. And on the 5th of January, he appears in court. His mother is hysterical. She is in the courtroom, wailing, screaming, crying. You've got victims' families in the courtroom as well. They're all hysterical crying. It's a terrible time.
It's so bad.
His bail is revoked. So, Brian, sorry, buddy, you're chucked into prison. You can't get bail. And that is where he will remain until the trial goes ahead. On January 12th, he appears in court again. He has got visible cuts on his face.
Really?
Hopefully from getting some goddamn beatdowns.
Yeah, suck shit.
And he waives his right to a speedy trial. If you're going to waive your right to a speedy trial, it's better for the defense team because they've got time to get their story straight, figure out what they're going to do. The prosecution, they are pretty solid. This case it's black and white. It's pretty wrapped up. They want to get straight into court, get it done, sign it off. This guy is guilty as hell. However, the judge agrees and it is pushed back to June 2023.
Really?
On the 22nd of May 2023, there is another hearing and Kohberger refuses to enter in a plea. So the judge has to make one on his behalf. And this is where he enters a not guilty plea.
That's so weird.
Be awkward if he entered a guilty for him on his behalf, wouldn't it?
All right, motherfucker.
Guilty!
Oh, gosh.
Christ. The attorney says he is standing in silence. The prosecution, they're fairly confident. They also want to seek the death penalty. Do you know in Idaho they have brought back death by firing squad?
Yeah,
brutal. Way to go.
Pew, pew.
Pew, pew. The defense team feel they've got a pretty strong alibi for Brian Kohberger.
Into the circus music.
Brian, he likes to take long drives alone. And that's exactly what he did that night. Because he loved to stargaze. Funnily enough though, Lolly, on this particular night, visibility was low. There was a lot of cloud. There was no stars.
Nothing to gaze at.
And the particular location where he would gaze, the gates were locked.
Good one, Brian.
Brian, I think you're a little confused. I think you thought stargazing was murder.
Was stabbing.
And also, the defense, they say you cannot seek the death penalty. Brian Kohberger is autistic.
Is he really though?
I don't know. He's a sociopath. That's what he is.
There you go. Yeah.
Meanwhile, December 28th, 2023, just a little over 1 year from this horrific event, the house is finally demolished. People in the community were pleased. They didn't want to see it. They were sick of looking at this house of horrors. Poor Ethan's brother, who lived in a property nearby, it was the first thing that he saw every day that he opened his curtains was that house directly looking at him. So he was pleased to see it gone. It was just a horrible reminder of what happened.
So as they are gearing up for trial, the investigation has been continuing behind closed doors. They have had Brian's device in their hot little hands and they're able to try and establish, is there a connection to the 4 people in this house? What is the motive? Why would somebody commit such a horrific crime? These murders on people that he didn't know. They are looking into some phone data, a little forensic data extraction. And from July through to November, Rainey, leading up to the murders in 2022, old Brian Kohberger's phone would ping off the towers for the King Road house 23 times.
Ugh, sicko.
This motherfucker was doing drive-bys for 3 months.
Just scoping it out.
Allegedly, there was no connection. They couldn't establish any connection. But remember Kaylee's badass sister, Olivia? She was all over this case. Her investigation skills were on point. And when Brian Kohberger's name was released to the public, she knew she had a very, very small window to try and gather as much evidence on this person as possible before everything just exploded. You'd have all these forums and news articles. And so she was trying to do a little digging, and she managed to find a Instagram account for a Brian Kohberger. She's not 100% sure if this was his account, but she thinks that it was. It had a pretty good history of content, and there were connections on his followers to other Kohberger, like family members. And she found that Kohberger had actually liked some of Kaylee and Maddie's photos on Instagram. She even took screenshots of these photos, but it wasn't verified if this was definitely his account. But she's pretty certain there was some connection there. Obviously, they lived within a 10 to 15 minute radius from each other. These are both college towns. There's going to be a merging of these colleges, these local hangout spots. Kaylee worked at a local restaurant, so some believe that maybe Kohberger used to go to this restaurant. Maybe he had a little thing for her. And also looking at the autopsies, it was established that Kaylee's injuries were so much worse than the rest.
She was unrecognizable. Her face was just horrific.
Just seemed so much more personal for Kaylee than everybody else. The family think that maybe she was the target and everybody else was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Kaylee had also mentioned to her friends that she thought somebody was following her. In particular, one night when she took the dog out at the King Road home, she saw a creepy looking man dressed in black. She felt like he was watching her. With all these phone pings, the possible online connection, the injuries, and with Kaylee thinking someone was following her, potentially that is what Brian's main target was. Finally, they are able to find in Brian Kohberger's Amazon history that this motherfucker purchased a K-bar knife. Now, this is the same knife that would have been housed in the knife sheath found at the King Road home. This is a pretty intense weapon. This ain't no steak knife. This is a military weapon. Why are we buying military weapons on Amazon? That's something we need to figure out.
7-inch blade.
Yeah, this piece of shit purchased a K-bar knife on Amazon using a gift card, and he also attempted to delete his Amazon history. I mean, bingo, motherfucker, bingo, motherfucker. It is getting very incriminating. Ding, 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 ding. So we're getting pretty close to trial. It's 2025. Things have been dragging on. The evidence is being gathered on both sides. The prosecution's case is tight. The defense, Christ knows what they're going to say. It's not looking good. But he's prepared to go to trial. They are getting ready for jury selection. And then something would happen that nobody expected.
On Monday, 30th of June, 2025, the family receive a letter about a plea deal. They weren't asked about this plea deal. Their thoughts or what they wanted was never taken into consideration. They were purely just told, look, guys, he's been given a plea deal. If he pleads guilty, the death penalty will be taken off the table, and Brian Kohberger, he's going to take it. Family members, they're pretty upset. Some don't really want to go to trial, and it's saving them a lot of pain and a lot of stress. But some of the other family members, they want this garbage man to face his day in court and ultimately be killed by firing squad. I mean, fair enough.
Fair enough. You coward piece of shit, man. You can go on and inflict the most horrific deaths on these poor kids, and you're too scared. You're too scared.
You're too scared to go out by firing squad? What's wrong with you?
I know. It's a lot more mercy than what you showed to those 4 victims. Garbage!
Oh, honestly, you absolute coward.
This was shocking. Everyone was expecting a trial, and this was going to be on court TV. It was going to be televised. Could you imagine?
This thing would have been so out of control. You look at the media frenzy and the circus of Karen Reid case. This would have been just horrific for all the details, all the autopsy and everything coming out.
It would have been terrible. And also the family were really hoping if they went to trial, they would get an understanding of why. Unfortunately, they would never get their why. This piece of trash, garbage, cockroach maggot of a man didn't give a reason as to why. All he said was guilty, and on the 23rd of July, 2025, the sentencing would begin. Brian Kohberger would receive 4 life terms plus 10 years for burglary and would be fined $250,000 plus $20,000 restitution, which is $5,000 for each victim. I mean, that is an absolute insult.
What? So, hang on, who's getting the $250,000?
Well, I don't know. It's like $50,000 fine for each charge.
And how's he going to pay that?
So 4 counts of murder, I know.
Is he going to go work it off in the kitchen?
Hope so. Good luck to you, mate. The parents, the friends, the family would be given the opportunity to deliver their impact statement. Ugh, as you can imagine, it was absolutely heart-wrenching, horrible to the pain, the grief that came out. This was the opportunity to address the man that took everything away from these friends and family. Let's come back to our badass bitch, Olivia Gonçalves. She is amazing, and she was prepared and ready to have her moment to address the person that took her sister's life. She wasn't there to speak in grief. She said she was fueled with rage, and she delivered the most powerful statement. It even got a round of applause afterwards, and she stood in confidence, and she told this man exactly who he was and how she felt about him. Let's just have a little listen, shall we?
Please.
Just the best. I mean,
She actually thought that she might get arrested.
yes.
She's come out saying she was expecting to be arrested.
Yes, she was prepared to go to prison.
Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You work so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Thank you.
Yes, girl.
Woo! Oh, I mean,
Didn't she tell him to sit up in his chair?
yeah, she spoke for 10 minutes and it was really great. She held her composure. She was strong, confident, and I'm sure for Brian, the woman-hating, angry man that he was, it would have been very, very hard to hear.
Terrible.
But he just had a blank face, hardly even blinked. It's pretty creepy. And when he was asked if he wanted to make a comment, this garbage man said,
I respectfully decline.
Ugh.
he was taken away. He is in prison, spending the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. And as one of the parents said, you're going from having straight A's to getting big D's in prison. So let's hope that's what he's getting.
That's right. And you could actually hear people in the courtroom were giggling at that, but he still had a straight face. He's probably like, oh, shit.
So that wraps up the horrific story of those poor students in Idaho. Brian Kohberger, who is just...
The worst.
he looks so disturbing. He just has this really creepy demeanor about him. He's just a nightmare. That's what he is.
I think he's going to get killed in prison.
I'm sure that he's not going to be given the best treatment in prison. Do you know that when he was in jail awaiting trial, one of the jailmates has come out saying that bit of an oddball, washes his hands all the time, doesn't really sleep at night, naps during the day. Apparently just talks to his mum on video call for hours. Okay, that's nice. And apparently he was having showers for up to 45 minutes to an hour. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. You're telling me that the treatment in prison is better than mothers? When was the last time I got a 45-minute shower? I'm lucky to get 5 minutes.
Why do you want a 45-minute shower? That's boring.
I want the opportunity to say yes to a 45-minute shower.
Pear.
I just thought that was disgraceful.
I can't believe it. The water bill over there will be huge.
Hopefully in prison, the treatment's not as good as jail. That is a horrible case. And Rainey, it leads me to the question, can you handle this terrible crime and scandal?
No, I don't even need to explain why. Can you? handle this crime and scandal.
Definitely not. I think this is one of the heaviest cases we've ever come across. It is what nightmares are made of. It's what you like fear the most when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I heard a noise.
Someone's standing there. And, you know, for me, it's the families. The impact on the families is just so horrific. The documentary on Prime, A Night in Idaho, and at the end, that's actually when I started crying.
Ruthless Rainey cries sometimes, guys. It's okay.
The father of Ethan, when they were going to go and bury him, the mom's like, well, I can't leave him out there. Like, I can't just go leave him somewhere. So they've got his ashes in the basement, and his dad will go down and talk to him whenever he wants, and they're just waiting for one of them when they die, that's when he'll get buried with them. Because they're like, how can you leave your child on his own? It's horrific.
Yeah, it's just the worst.
Very sad.
So look, friends, happy Wednesday. Thanks for listening. You know, sometimes we try to bring a little lightness to these stories, but sometimes you just can't.
No, it's a story that had to be told. It is everywhere. If we can just take a moment to remember these lovely, lovely children lost their lives.
Also, it just is a reminder to hold your loved ones tight. Don't stay mad. Say I love yous.
That's right.
Treat every moment as special as it is, because you don't know when it's the last. With that, friends, take it easy. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
All right, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. He made everyone's life better.
And they would be hanging around. Now, just to put it into perspective, why me? Why can't I talk today? To put it into perspective, sorry, fuck me. Why?
Oh my God.
I'm not.
Take a breath, girl. Skill up to
Namaste. So, University State. What? To Albrightsville. Fuck, did I say that right?
Albrightsville.
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 From Pullman, sorry. During this cross country, the DNA has come back on the knife. Jeez, that's a tongue twister.
Shit. I'm going to sneeze.
Yep.
No. It's gone. Sorry.
Be like next time.